Don't forget to check out my podcast on Saturdays, 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, for your chance to win a $10 PSN card just by interacting. Also, if you can get me to 350 subscribers, you'll get a $35 Amazon card. Let's go. There has been a lot of concern about the PlayStation 5 and its controller. I mean, people were talking about, oh, it's going to spy on you. Oh, you're going to hear clicking if you decide to use the actual microphones that's inside the controller that's built in. Then you have the 9.2 or 9.4 teraflop situation. And I mean, everything is just unraveling for the Xbots fans of the Xbox, and it's pretty hilarious. I mean, people are just trying to rationalize their obviously their plastic box of choice. Now, it's cool to be a fan of certain things, and I have no problem being a fan. I have no problem admitting that I'm a fan of the PlayStation. But like I said before, if there is an issue with any company, I will definitely voice it, and if it becomes too detrimental, I'm definitely going to come at it. So one of the things that I did here is people were really upset about the PlayStation controller looking just like the Xbox controller. And as I started to stare at it more and more and more, I started realizing it's not really quite true. You know what I mean? I guess because they are not used to. I mean, people are used to handles. You know what I mean? But it's been years, decades even, with this handle situation, and they wanted to try something different. Speaking of which, developers are actually talking about how, you know, it'll make you forget about the PlayStation 4 controller. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was some sort of Bethesda developer that was talking about, like, man, you're going to forget about the PlayStation 4 controller. And to be perfectly honest with you, when I first saw the PlayStation 5 controller, I wanted to throw my current controller in the trash and get one of those new PlayStation 5 controllers. It's just such a beautiful piece of tech. And not only that, I figure I want to let you guys know, in case you didn't know, about this haptic, isn't it haptic? No, about this adaptive trigger. Now, there were some concerns as well where people were like, well, isn't this going to wear out soon? Well, the way that it works, to put it in a nutshell, from everything that I've gathered, is it uses electromagnetic energy to provide a resistance. So it's not there to really fight you. It's there for you to contextually tell the difference between the two, or between the differences. People are thinking about it's going to be only used for the controller, you know, triggers and stuff like that. But it's also going to be used for if you have racing games. You're going to be able to contextually feel the different surfaces. There was even an example before about if you're grabbing on the ledge and using the triggers, you're going to be able to feel the texture of the ledge by the resistance of it. So that's one thing too. And then you have people that are actually complaining about, oh my gosh, I just can't believe it. Well, oh no, the controller is going to be listening to me while I watch X videos and while I watch Pornhub. Your phone does that. You know what I'm saying? And then let's not forget, because your phone always asks you the way of access to your microphone and cameras and shit like that. But let's not forget, you don't have to use this. It's not a main feature. And lastly, we have another developer speaking out on the architecture of the PlayStation 5. There was some talk about the concern about variable rate shaders, but you can look that up as well. The PlayStation 5 not having. Well, this developer goes on to say, not only does it have it, but it has a better version of it. The geometry engine, they say that basically it far exceeds that ability. So you don't even have to worry about that. His quote, his name is Matt, by the way. You can probably find it somewhere. But he says variable rate shading is nice for saving cycles, but the VRS's optimized capabilities don't hold a candle to geometry engine. So there you have it. Another developer speaking out. And by the way, that Crytek developer, from what I saw, I think he got fired. And if he got fired, that means that he's spoken about something or he said something that he wasn't supposed to say. Unfortunately, that's the casualty. But I do thank you for doing that because it lets people know that it is a pretty powerful console. Let's go on to the next subject. Well, as the great Dutch Vanderlyn has said, Sony has a plan, apparently. They have a plan. Um, what I believe is going on with the actual PlayStation 5 is that if you can clearly see what they're doing, all right? So, my understanding with all of this shit is that everything, this is what I'm starting to notice, and I don't know if you picked this up as well. I'm starting to notice that Sony is deliberately starving people of information because they know they got it. They know they got it. There's something that Sony knows that no other person knows, and that no matter what the competition is doing, they know whatever they have is very, very valuable. So that begs the question, what exactly do they have going on under the sheets? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, on one side of the fence, you can clearly tell there's some sort of schedule that they have going on, and their schedule is loosely fitted with what the competition is doing. I always said this before. What I believe what Sony is doing is that they're literally waiting for Microsoft to tell the price because Microsoft has been giving their hands the entire time. Just all the time they've been giving their hands. Um, and I'm starting to notice that they're looking at what they're doing, and then they are acting appropriately within that particular and internal scheduling that they have. Point in case, look at what they actually did with this controller reveal. I'm sure they knew that the inside Xbox was happening that day, but they still did it anyway. And it totally overshadowed whatever the fuck they had going on. It overshadowed it. So the schedule looks as this, and it'd be cool to do like some sort of giveaway regarding who can guess when the PlayStation 5's dev kit is going to be shown. Okay, so what I'm noticing is that they first said we're going to release some specs, like literally right after the PlayStation or the Xbox reveal. Um, but then they showed stuff that was less powerful. But I feel like they were trying to modulate expectations as well. So that's another interesting thing that it clearly that they're doing. So there was that. Then they waited for this inside Xbox to release a controller that seemingly came out of nowhere. The controller, the look of the controller, which was already provocative because we were like, I've never seen anything like this fucking controller for PlayStation. Now, Mark Cerny, during his little whatever deep dive, stated that they're going to do a teardown of the PlayStation 5, which means that the next schedule event that they have, which I believe is in May sometime, would show the actual PlayStation 5, but without any price. So you'll be able to see the innards of PlayStation 5, as well as just the show in general. The next last thing that they're going to do is basically probably show the games and then hit your ass with the fucking cost. But they're waiting probably for Microsoft to actually show what they have in terms of price, or what they're going to do with the pricing, because Microsoft has been falling into their hands the whole entire time anyway. So I'm like, huh, man, they got this shit way more figured out than I thought they did. It's kind of blew me the fuck away. I'm like, wow, they really got this. What I presume is that they have a killer lineup for when the PlayStation 5 is released. My wet dream for this shit would be, because there's another rumor that's coming out about the apparently Silent Hill. There's a rumor is cropping up again, and I'll say this later on, I think in my podcast at the end of the week, that I think Sony's going to revive, and they have probably purchased the IP of Silent Hill at least. They're going to do that. They're going to do a Bloodborne. There was rumors about The Last of Us actually being moved over to the PS5. I don't think they'll do that. I really don't think so. But Xbots are saying all sorts of shit. So who the fuck knows at this point in time? And I think they're just going to show teasers of, Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War. If they do that, they pretty much won a generation and controlled the narrative. But anyway, let me know what you think about the video. And let me please share in the comments what you liked or disliked about the video. And if you liked it, a sub would be appreciated. Love you guys. Deuces. And P.S. I really would hope that you will be in my podcast on Saturday, 5:30 Eastern Standard Time.